As the night continues, Jebediah, Leah, and Eve spend time coming to terms with their realities and the overwhelming folder of daddy issues. As the night comes to an end, all of them realize that they may be far apart in origin, but their fates are closer than they ever knew. This week on WeTogether, Passing the Smoking Apple.
Hey, we together, we together, hey, we together, we together, hey, we together, storm any weather, hey, we together, hey, we together, hey, we together, storm any weather, hey, we together, yeah,
We Together is now on.
Hell yeah. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
I was born this way. I'm going to start this episode bringing back the ambience of the apartment that you are all in. Outside, you start to hear raindrops falling against the outside of the building. This is just before we know, as players and GM, the knock on the door, but in the moments before, there's a tense stillness in the house. A group that is not together by choice, but by circumstance. And all of you seem to have very different ideas on what you should do about the situation you find yourself. So you have Squalled sitting in the corner, lumbering, looking out the window. You have Jebediah making himself comfortable on the couch, and Leah, feet swinging as she sits on one of the metal stools in the kitchen. The silence is almost louder than any noise. The tension could be cut with a knife. And that's when you hear it. The knock on the door. Instinctually, you all look at each other, wondering, do we answer it or do we? Squalled in a fit of, we can call it impatience, we can call it irritability, we can call it any kind of negative emotion, because he seems to have a lot of them going on. And he, exasperated, stands up and marches over to the door, pulling it open, revealing on the other side, wearing a clear poncho. So it's like one of those plastic ponchos that you would get if you visit somewhere like Niagara Falls.
Or like a football game if you're going in the rain.
Yes. And standing outside, you see a rather admonished gnome man wearing a very basic outfit. Plain white dress shirt, plain blue tie, and on the tie, at the very top, right below the knot, you guys can see a crescent moon symbol. As the gnome says, "Hello, my friend. Can I interest you in learning about our Lord and Savior, Luna the Moon?" Squalled for a second, in complete disbelief at the ridiculousness of this man being here. Takes a beat, says nothing, glaring at the man, who suddenly gets a little nervous. If not, that's fine. I can give you this pamphlet. He holds a pamphlet out for Squalled, who's literally just staring at him. Okay. He drops it on the floor. Thank you, and may the moon bless you, and remember, the moon and he slams the door on the gnome's face. Walks into the room angrily, kicking the couch Jebediah is sitting on to the side, lifting the trapdoor leading to the bunker below. He says, "Fuck this shit. I'm going to bed." Walks down the stairs, slamming the trapdoor, leaving the silence once more. Now,
Armor. Any.
in this tension of the room, I want to kind of get your guys into this scene here. You guys into this scene. Leah, you had a clear view of the whole thing, whereas Jebediah kind of got the gist of it from hearing it. You were like physically watching, and you can see the pamphlet just lying on the floor in the hallway, and you can't help feeling some kind of way about what you just saw. What does Leah feel right now?
I am very aware of the insidious dangers of anger issues and the importance of a deep breath.
So you take a deep breath at the table, audibly out loud. So Jebediah, you can hear that. Coming
Very
from the other room.
important.
I stand up and I look around the room. Trapdoor to the basement's been closed. And I walk into the kitchen. Leah, you all right? That noise you just made sounded very perturbing, and just making sure that you're okay. You didn't get shot or stabbed or your bodily. You have any bodily injuries that I need to tend to? There, little one.
I appreciate you checking in. As much as emotional tension can be dangerous to us all. Nothing severe, nothing permanent. Just taking it in. Trying to remember to breathe deeply and hopefully calm myself so that I can help other people do the same. Cause
that was you breathing.
Leah kind of has like a look of surprise on her face, like she didn't realize that she was doing anything strange.
Yeah.
You should probably get that checked out by a doctor, little one.
I think it's just a matter of lung experience, if you will. I don't think I've really spent this much time on this level, and the air quality is definitely different than what I have experienced in the past, but
So this
nothing
would be
serious.
Kind of news to Jebediah, as you know, it's kind of assumed that everyone's from level 3.
You not from around here? And Jebediah actually pulls up one of those metal stools that she's like, because I'm assuming there's more than one there.
Yeah.
Does it have a back on it, like a bar stool?
It does not have a backup.
Does not have a back on it. I was gonna do that cool, like sit with the back at the front thing,
and I was gonna allow that until I realized that you're a giant bear, and this would probably not go the way you thought it would.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just saved you.
Well, it would have been funny either way. So he pulls up a stool and attempts to sit on the stool, assuming that the stool doesn't just collapse under him.
Holds.
It holds. So you said some funny shit the other day or yesterday, last night.
Thank you. I've been told I have an excellent sense of humor also. Oh, you meant, okay, the other funny.
You said some funny shit earlier about your family, and now you're telling me you're not from here. What brings you to these parts, anyways? We're together. We might as well share a little bit.
I'm not really sure. It was kind of a traumatic experience, if I'm being honest. Because I was on a mission, I had very important business to attend to, and I was rudely interrupted and, drowned is the best way I would put it. I can't believe that I'm here, because I thought I was done on this earth, and now I'm back. And from what we learned from Paulie about that Project Genesis, I have a really good feeling it's something to do with that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in the same boat there.
You're in the same boat?
Well, I was on a mission, and there's some things that I just need confirmation for before I really talk about them, but there's some shit. Ugh. And then Jebediah pats his clothes, realizes he's out of fucking Bramblebush because he smoked the only Bramblebush that he had.
And then Squall has all. No, you have that bag that Polly gave you, right? Pretty sure Squall only took a little bit and then gave it back, if I remember correctly.
Then I pat myself looking for that bag of Bramblebush, and I look in the cupboards. Is there any sort of trays, like tiny trays? I'm looking for a.
There's a set of 4 cups, set of 4 like mugs. There's 4 small plates, 4 big plates, and 4 bowls.
I just go grab a small plate and pour some of the Bramblebush, and I realize, damn, I've got no papers. I've got no pipe. Shit. So I'm going to attempt. I want to look in the refrigerator. Is there any cans of beverages in the refrigerator?
The refrigerator is completely
It's
full
only got the MREs.
of MREs and bottles of water.
I've heard from just, I guess, coworkers and other people in the school that they are able to make a device out of an apple. If I were to, is that something that you're capable of doing? If you had an apple?
Oh yeah, I've definitely smoked my fair share of apples in the past.
Perfect.
And so she's going to create food, like use her magic to create a snack. And it's going to be like a bright green apple.
So you see like the fabric of magic when someone connects to the magic sphere, it's almost like it's getting pulled towards the person making the magic. It's not necessarily like it comes out of nowhere. It's almost like little tiny strands of light. And for Leah, this light is like greenish with some pink kind of floating in and out as it condenses together in her hand to make the apple.
Yep. It's
Holy
like
fucking shit, that's an apple. The fuck? How did... You know what? I'm not even going to question it.
I don't mind.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is basically my magic works based on snacks that I've tried. And so this is the best apple I've ever had. And I'll never forget that. Hopefully it smokes good too. Cheers.
She hands you the apple.
So I take the apple in my bear claw, and instead of using a pin to hollow it out, I just go.
just uses one claw.
Just uses one claw to like hollow out the middle, make a little hole, make a little carburetor on the side of it.
Yeah.
And I fucking smoke some Bramblebush out of this apple.
Well, first of all, I need you to explain the process of how this works. And if you can do so properly, then I will give you advantage on the roll to make a apple bowl.
Yeah, so I was halfway through my junior year of college, and I went to a party, and I actually got shown how to do this. So you would take in IRL, you would take a pin and hollow out a little bit of the middle of it to make like a stem for the smoke to travel through. You would hollow out from the side of the apple a small bowl-sized indent and poke into where you hollowed out the middle of it, so that way when you light it, the smoke goes down into that. And then I would make a carburetor with like a toothpick on the side.
Jebediah just has.
He's using his finger. It's not going to be the
You
prettiest.
switch from the index to pinky for the carb.
Yeah. Switch from the index to the pinky for the carb, and that's just in the side of the apple that goes towards the center where you hollowed it out for the smoke to go through. So that way, when you're holding it, it's on the side, and you don't have to worry about that.
Burning
That's
yourself.
yeah, burning yourself or like it causing any sort of like clogs or anything. Yeah, that's about. If I remember correctly, granted, it's been 6 years since I was in college. I think I'll be 29 in October, so I would have been 23.
Fine. We'll just put unintelligible in the subtitles.
Yeah. So that's how I would make a apple pipe.
And I think that you did a fantastic job describing that purely for educational purposes.
Purely.
Together. So give me a sleight of hand roll, and you do get advantage. Ooh, yeah. Blow the smoke on the dice.
Okay, the first one was a 6. Not a good look. Second one was a 19. That's the fourth 19 I've rolled today. So we're gonna keep that one.
So
Let's go.
you see Jebediah, which just for the viewers at home, because Ursar is a homebrew race. I will clarify: they are anthropomorphic bears, but their hands are not paws. They are hands like you would have as a human, but covered in fur, and where the nails would be are pretty thick, long claws. And then the palms of their hands and the palms of their fingers would have pads, like a bear would. For those weebs out there, Kuma is a good example of this. So now that I've explained that, you watch Jebediah very skillfully and very easily turn this pipe or this apple into a pipe and then load it full of some ground up bramblebush.
And I reach into my jacket pocket and pull out my trusty lighter. And I take a hit, and then I attempt to pass the apple to their young Leah.
Leah watched him make this pipe. The way that sometimes a young child watches you do adult things that they've never seen before, and it looks like they're downloading the information and permanently altering their brain. Which, for context, like in the world of Leah and innocence and all of these things, within a very short amount of time, not only has seen and smoked different types of drugs, but also like it's becoming part of the world. And so like it's like she's processing and absorbing all of this information in a way that is completely new information. So as like he hands it and she looks at it, she just kind of like takes it and attempts to copy how she saw him hit it, which is funny because I imagine he took an experienced
Bear-sized hit.
Experienced bear-sized toke probably had to reload the apple bowl because those bowls are really tiny to make it work. So probably had to reload the bowl in between uses before I handed it back to Leah.
Yep, and just a PSA here. Leah's character may sound young and may act naive and young, but they are actually 21 years old. That is factually true. And Danny, the player, does not know the dark side of the internet, like I'm sure many listening and me and Jerry do. So be cool. Be chill. Okay? Okay. That being said, give me an insight roll, Leah.
Let's see what we got. And the dice that said it would be my friend is red with gold writing on it. It's a cutie. It's a 7.
So, Leah, you mimic almost everything correctly, except for 2 things. First of all, the lighter is much bigger in your hand. The lighter is larger than it would be for Jebediah, because Jebediah's hands are much bigger. So you kind of struggle to hold it the correct way and end up completely torching the entire inside of the bowl. And then you forget to take your finger off the carb as you're pulling, and you're not really getting any. And then you kind of look over at Jebediah, and Jebediah like is signaling with his hand to like let the thumb go. And then you finally do, and you take the biggest, milkiest hit of Bramblebush that Jebediah has ever seen somebody under 3 feet take in their lives.
Hell yeah, Leah, that's what I like to see.
And I'm going to need a con save, please.
Let's go. I'm so here for this. Leah is a scientist in a spirit, man. So if not, it's a dirty 20. Let's go.
Oh shit.
You were, as you breathe in, Leah, Jeb, you see her cheeks kind of like building out bigger and bigger and bigger. And it gets to the point where like it makes her face look completely round how big her cheeks are. And then she just kind of like looks concerned for a second and then breathes it all out of her nose in 2 long, giant streaks of smoke that instantly fog up the room that you're in. And Leah, you're coughing a little bit, but also you handle it like a champ. So you just kind of like, how do you feel? How does Leah feel? You are instantly stoned.
I feel like no time has passed, and it's also been years at the same time.
She says out loud.
You know, I've felt that way since the day I was born, little one. I think we're going to get along real nicely.
I think so too, Mr. Jebediah, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's your preferred, you prefer that I would call you Jebediah?
You can call me Jeb. You can call me Jebediah. You can even call me, some of my friends call me Jay.
Oh, sure. I know how it goes because I have a name that I really don't care for, so I always go by my nickname. But I'm just wondering what your favorite thing is to be called.
Probably Jeb. I like Jeb.
Me
Mom
too.
calls me Jeb a lot, and I miss Mom. We need to go see her. Fuck.
Oh.
The air kind of like sours a little bit as you see Jebediah get just noticeably more uncomfortable and like almost like he's itchy in his own skin.
Yeah.
She sounds like maybe part of your mission that you can't talk about.
No, I could talk about Ma. She's probably the nicest person I've ever met when she's not beating the shit out of me.
Oh.
Damn.
Not like beating the shit out of me, like I deserve that one. Like, when you don't wake up early enough to go to work and she's kind of like a parental fit. I look at her like she's my ma. She's a good lady. She's a good lady. She runs a bar. And I think back to my to my time hold on. At Nina's Dive, sorry. And I think back to that day that I got sent on that mission when she's banging on the pot trying to get me to wake up. And I just like reminisce a little bit and I'm like, man, some fucked up shit has really been happening, hasn't it?
Tell me about it.
You ever think we gonna be able to go back to our old lives? What was your old life like?
It was like having a piece to the puzzle and being told that it's the puzzle. So I really don't think that we can go back to our old lives, Mr. Jeb, because what we see and what we are now is unequivocally different. and changed. And I have already learned so much from you and from Mr. Halfhorn just by opening up my mind to more possibilities that could exist for the world.
I kind of lean in on the table and I'm like, yeah, but don't you ever miss your family? What's it like having a family? You have one of those?
I do. For me, having a family is like having to choose between people that you love and the person that you want to be. Because I had a lot of trouble growing up being the type of daughter that my parents would have wanted. Mostly because they're very focused on how they look to society and to people that they're trying to please and impress. And I'm very passionate about my studies about plants. That's not necessarily cool to everyone, and that's okay. But they don't always have an ear for it.
Well, you keep studying the things that you want to study there, Leah.
I think it's really important. I think that if we could potentially harness the capability of plants on Iris Luna, we could provide an environment that's breathable and livable for every single person on every single level. And I think that we all deserve that.
Huh. You make an interesting point. And Jebediah.
Yeah, but it's kind of fucked up right now. If I wanted to tell you a little bit of insider information of what I've been studying lately, the plants on level 2 are not reproducing.
Oh. I've been made aware of some things where, you know what? If you're sharing, I guess I'm sharing. And
it's a sharing episode, everybody.
so,
Leah leans in on the table also, mirroring his like lean in.
And I could just see like Leah's like bloodshot eyes. She's the most stoned she's ever been, ranting about plants.
Yeah.
I love it. And Jeb just takes another giant hit of the apple. He said, "Remember that mission I was telling you about that I got sent on?"
Oh, yeah.
That mission went sideways for a reason or two. But I was delivering some documents to a client, and the job got sideways. Just real sideways real quick.
Oof.
But in one of the final moments that I remember seeing a document from the union. And they know we're running out of oxygen. We're not going to be able to breathe down here much longer. And I don't know that that's any of my damn business or any of your damn business, but maybe, you know, your studies could help with the situation. So you keep studying what you want to study, little one, and maybe you will make a difference on this fucking rock one of these days.
Her eyes get like super wide, even though she's stoned. So like they're actually not that wide, but as wide as she possibly can open them. And
Like,
You're telling me that we're running out of oxygen, and is it at an accelerated rate? Is it at a slow rate? Is it going to be in our lifetimes?
I got absolutely shit on, for lack of a better term, before I could even read the document. Someone who, and then he like trails off. He's like, someone who knew my, and you see for the first time Jeb show anger, like real anger, and like his like arms start to like, you know how in anime, how like when like an angry like protag, their muscles start to like up, you can kind of like see Jeb like holding that back, and he's like, someone who knew my fucking sperm donor stopped me. And then I woke up with you guys. I wasn't able to get any more information other than the fact that motherfucker knows I'm out here and hasn't fucking had the balls to talk to me. God damn it! And
dent in the table that you pound your fist on.
And
Whoa.
Leah's like not scared, but that's because she knows at this point, like the vibe is different when someone is angry at you versus angry at the things that are happening, you know? So,
and Jeb immediately, heeding Leah's earlier words,
I was just about to say.
pass that apple back over. And he's like, yeah, so I don't know what any of this has to do with you or me or Project Genesis or who the fuck, but we ain't got much longer on this rock if we're gonna stay the way we're staying.
So it's imperative that this mission moves forward.
I don't know shit about it. I just heard it through the grapevine, I guess. I looked in my pockets. It wasn't in my damn pockets. I put it in my pocket before I died, and it's not in my damn pocket. As he starts to like stress out again, he's like,
Leah blinks really slowly and just goes,
Whoa.
Knock on the door.
I would love if there is a peephole, but I don't know if there is.
there's probably a normal person-sized people.
Let's roll for it.
Roll for peephole.
There is no peephole, but on next to the door, if you press there's like a pad next to the door. If you do something I'm not gonna tell you guys what you need to do, but it looks like you can see outside the door from. It's like a little screen,
like a panel, like a security panel.
Yeah, and you've seen them before, so that's why you would know. You just I don't know if you guys know how to activate it or not.
Especially in this mental state. Like I imagine the door knocking and then the both of us just being like, whoa. Or at least I know for Leah personally, it's just like,
did you hear that?
Yeah, didn't Paulie say he was gonna send somebody over here? Wait, who was at the door earlier? And now that we've been smoking a little bit, I like go over and look down the hallway because there was a hallway to the kitchen.
Yep.
What do I see down the hallway other than just the panel on the wall? Do I see anything else?
There's a pamphlet on the floor.
I just kind of walk over to the pamphlet and take it.
On the front, it says Lunite United. And it's a bunch of information about the religion, Lunite United, who's also the bank. And if you lived in Iris Luna for a while, which you have, what most people think about them is they are crazy people who believe that the moon is God and that they are descendants from people who came to this dimension thousands of years ago. And it's fucking psychotic.
They're Mr. Warp Master. Just because they're religious don't make them crazy now. Everybody has their own beliefs.
The religion. That's why they're crazy. Not because they're religious, but because of the religion.
Hey, I mean, you can't don't yuck people's yums. You know, they people out here worshiping the banks.
Wait, hold on. I have to clarify this, okay? Just as a GM, I have to clarify this, brother. There are real gods that people actually like. They're real. Like for a fact that they're real. And then you have a group of people in a world where there are real gods worshiping the moon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like that idea. You Jebediah might be like lenient to them. I'm just saying for clarification for those listening, it's not because they're religious. It's because there are actually religions that are tangible and they choose an intangible religion.
So
everyone in the
beholder there, you don't know what religion I worship. I might worship the moon.
Oh, as you look at the Lunite United pamphlet, does it appeal to you?
Hey, I might be converted one of these.
Hey,
This is definitely not my god.
There's a cash incentive. They're offering 50 mics for new times when you open an account with Lunite United.
I'm gonna shove that pamphlet in my pocket because I might need the money later. And then walking over in the area, I'm gonna look at the pad. What sort of buttons do I see on the pad, or do I see any like controls for that?
It does just look blank, but a lot of the screens in this world are like touch screen equivalent.
So I tap the screen to see if something pops up.
You see a rectical scan, like not a rectical scanner, sorry. A scanner that looks as if it's waiting to scan something.
Pull out the card that has the thing that we have.
The outfit card?
Yes, the outfit card.
As you tap it to the screen, it green light, and then you see camera, and there's a hooded figure standing outside in the rain. So the rain is just dripping off their hood, and you see their hand come up.
Hey, don't knock so loud. There could be sleeping people in here.
At this point, Leah has joined Jeb at the door. She came over at like a normal pace, but she just goes,
Whoa, how fast did I get here? I felt like that was really quick, but also, did that take me a long time? Am I walking normal?
Looking at the figure, do they look ominous? Do they look what do they look like?
They look annoying.
I open the door.
As the door opens, you see the hooded figure kind of like push. As soon as the door opens, starts like pushing into the room, and the hood pulls back. And you see, I'm retconning this because the generator that I use refuses to make a actual Triton. So now, she used to have blue skin. Now she has like pale skin covered in green tattoos and short pixie cut hair. As you see Eve looking at you. You're just going to let anyone come in without questioning? She like tries to push past you.
Eve, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a big guy, and I don't go down quite easily. I don't just let anybody in here. But I thought I could take you.
Roll intimidation.
Let's say persuasion.
You want to do persuasion? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm rolling intimidation.
Oh, well. 16 minus 1, 15.
Nice. As like she kind of shoulders her way into the room, the door closes behind her. You see her kind of like look up at you, and in her eyes, there's like a flash for a moment for you. Because in your past, you've seen the look of people who have taken lives and are willing to do it again. And her eyes kind of harden for a second. And she goes, I'm sure you could take me, big boy. And walks past you. You get like a chill down your spine as she moves over to the table and looks around. Where's the other one?
He's it's not his shift. What do you need, Eve? Does Polly send you?
She pulls the hood down, and like you see like her finned ears kind of pop out as she like starts taking off the wet hood that she's wearing.
Yeah, he's getting his beauty sleep.
Yes, I'm sure he needed it. Sorry, it's been a busy night. I just got back from Krieger. There's some things you guys should know that I found out, but I couldn't wait. And besides, I have to come and get my Neuralink turned back on, so I'm sticking with you guys for a little bit. Sorry that I had to exit earlier. I had to get some answers.
Oh, thanks for coming back. We learned some things too. Might have to fill you in as well.
I just like nudge Leah, like, hey, Maybe we don't.
Can you give me a you're gonna give me a stealth, and then
Yeah.
Leah, if you do, like, depending on if you do decide to try and spin it as a lie, that'll be a deception. Oh, Jerry's laughing.
I got a nat 1 on that one, dog.
So Jerry visibly nudges Leah, which
I like-
sends her like a couple feet to the left.
So, for those of you not watching, I'm going to exhibit exactly what Jebediah does to Leah, but because she is 3 feet and Jebediah is much larger, this may send her flying into the wall. But he just goes "Whoop," with his butt.
He does a hip bump.
Yeah, a little. Stop.
Leah, you get sent flying like to the left, at least 3 feet, as you like stumble to keep yourself upright. Do you attempt? What's your reaction?
Whoa, that was great.
Sorry. Don't know my own strength sometimes. I didn't.
You see Eve kind of looking between you two and smelling. Are you idiots high?
Eve, what did you expect?
It just seems that my job is turning more and more from stick with the other survivors to babysit the other survivors. Jeez. She sits down at the table. Well, she already said she has something to tell me. You might as well tell me.
I show her the apple.
Did you know that if with the right angle, you can smoke bramble bush with this?
And she kind of looks at Jebediah and like almost just like nods her head almost as if you didn't see it, so that she's like, I heard you.
Yeah, you're going to have to roll deception on that one, brother. I'm going to give you advantage because Eve definitely thinks you're both fucking idiots.
I love it.
That's good, because my first roll was a 1.
Oh, fuck! We almost had a double that one! Fuck!
Yo.
Oh, you guys should never smoke bramble bush again.
Or we must always. It's one of the two. It's definitely one of the two. But I rolled an 8 for my deception.
With advantage too.
Yikes.
Luckily for you, I rolled a fucking 4. So Eve like looks at you for a long couple seconds, and then just shakes her head. Just, no, I didn't know that. Can we talk about more pressing matters now? There's kind of a war going on.
For sure.
She pulls out a file folder, similar to the ones that you, Jebediah, have seen, and she puts it on the table. It appears the people that you told me about that have she points at Jeb, you and the other large fellow puts her finger to her head and mocks a trigger pull, ended you. So I did some searching for a snow leopard tabaxi, and you will not like what I found. She opens the folder, and you see a picture. Oh, I got a finger.
Sorry, I was chewing, and I didn't want to talk with my mouth full. So you found him. I was just getting riled up.
Well, calm down. She like wipes the desk of some bramblebush crumbs, looking at the dent in the desk and the
Don't forget
table.
to breathe.
I didn't say I found him. I said I found some information. He's actually quite hard to find. And then, even if you do find him, impossible to read. You see, she opens the file and like points to the top file, and you see a picture of the tabaxi kind of like moving through a crowd, and she swipes on the picture, which like orients the picture sideways, and you see that the Tabaxi's leading a rather stately looking halfling man. You see, what we could find out is he is a high profile bounty hunter, one that very few can afford. And this man, she zooms in on a lunar halfling, pink hair, stately mustache, wearing a smart suit. Governor Thorne, it seems your assailant works for him. And she kind of looks across the table at Leah with like a side eye. Looks at Jebediah, but that's not all. She moves the page to the side, and you see a picture of the Tabaxi talking to the back. So you see the Tabaxi talking, and you see the back of what appears to be a Ursar man. Large, very large, grizzly, wild variety. And on the back of his jacket, you see a symbol for one of the pirate gangs of the asteroid. One that Jebediah will have heard of as one of the most notorious and dangerous pirate gangs. The Iron Jaws. And you see a picture of a bear with the bottom jaw that is completely mechanical and fangs that come up past his lips like tusks. And it's just like a embroidered on the back, almost like a biker patch on the back of the jacket.
And so I recognize the name of the pirates, but that's not the pirates that I was hanging out with, right?
No. The pirates you were hanging out with were, for lack of a better term, considered scum to these kinds of pirates.
Yeah. Figured. Jebediah is going through a whirlwind of emotions right now. Fear, anger, a little bit of self-worth issues, and
relatable.
A little bit of hatred. And who might that be there, Eve?
I'm glad you asked. Not much is known about the leader of this gang, but it is said that he goes by the name Ezekiel. Does this ring a bell to you?
This is a picture, right? Or is this a tablet? And it's in her hand, or is it like on the table?
A picture, but it also, so think of paper in this world is like transparent, like thin, almost like it would look like plastic.
Right.
Right. Yep. And then you would see holograms on the paper as if it was like printed on the paper.
Yeah, I do recognize that name. And Jeb walks over to her and attempts to take the picture out of her hand.
She lets him. So what do you know?
Gonna be honest, not much. The bastard ain't came around in God knows how long. How many years I've been alive? More than enough. And he lets out like this like growl of hatred. This true passion as he throws the picture down on the table.
What's wrong, Mr. Jeb?
That very well could be my father.
Your father? You don't know?
I never met the old bastard.
It's strange.
Sold me off to a bunch of fucking scum.
You were collateral.
You could say that.
Looks at Leah, kind of like understanding that she might not fully understand this kind of a thing just from her look. Collateral is when someone can't pay their debts, so they sell a family member or child into servitude. It's particularly popular in the asteroid belt. So you're a pirate?
Was a pirate. Reformed, some would say.
You see Eve kind of like raise her hand. Just, I did not mean to offend. We are all in this together, and despite our pasts, I'm sure we can move on. I just merely need this for information. Because if your father, a pirate, is working with a bounty hunter who works for the governor of the first level of Iris Luna, the most opulent place to live, this is crossing lines that normally have never been crossed. Trust me, in my line of work, I know things, and I've never seen these circles crossing.
And I look at Eve, and in my line of work, I learned not to trust anybody. So what else do you know about my old man, huh?
Well, besides finding out that he is your old man, not much. We only have 2 pictures of him talking with the tabaxi. But the second picture might even be more worrisome. Are you aware that the asteroids have colonies of their own, some sanctioned and some not sanctioned?
To an extent, yeah. I mean, of course, I was a pirate. Like we hung out in the asteroid belt all the time.
So you are aware of Port Nassau. Give me a history roll.
History. 18, dirty 18.
Nice. Good fucking roll there, bud. Port Nassau is the biggest asteroid in the asteroid belt, and it is considered the pub, the central hub of all things illegal in the asteroid belt. It's this basically a small city that exists in the asteroid belt, and it's known for lawlessness, wild.
One more
west.
time. What was the name of the pirates that I got sold to?
The name of the
see it.
pirates that you got sold to, it's not in your backstory.
It doesn't look.
You get to make it up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, when I was with the Skull Riders, we bought and sold illicit things at Port Nassau. We visited occasionally. What does that have to do with anything?
Well, according to my intel, not too long before we got put under ice, so nearly almost a year now, that got a new mayor. She slides a picture across, and you see a ice pale blue tiefling man with intense blue eyes and a very stoic and it's a mugshot, so it's like he looks like he could murder you from the picture. Apparently, Mayor Scarwell, somebody that your friend sleeping downstairs might know all too well. So, looks at Leah. Have you told him?
No, but I guess I might as well. Kind of crazy. If you just walked into this safe house and brought a folder of daddy issues for all of us.
The name of the episode has been said. Yes.
Folder of daddy issues.
A folder full of daddy issues.
Because what that could be extrapolated is, Mr. Jeb, if the bear with the iron jaw is your dad and the tiefling mayor of the asteroid belt is Mr. Scald's dad, then that would mean that the governor of level 1 would be my dad.
Jebediah looks. You're royalty? And he kind of just like chuckles a little bit.
I don't believe that's how that works. I believe it's more of a political figure than a. I don't think that's the right terminology.
Floor 1. I don't want to hear it. You're royalty around these parts.
No, well, okay. It's not okay. I have no further explanation for my
You kind of
background
just-
at this point because I get it.
She just kind of like intervenes. It's not royalty, so to speak, but Leah, you must understand. Very few people on this level lived the kind of opulent life that you grew up in. So to the people down here, it would seem like royalty. But the only reason I would say that that is a true thing to say, Leah, your father, he's been re-elected 3, 4 times now?
4.
Do you understand the kind of things you have to do in Iris Luna to hold power that long?
Not in the sense of detail. He was very important for the facade of Magnus Thorn to always be this full family of happiness, and I think a huge part of that was trying to leave us kids in the dark. But there definitely have been moments, especially watching my dad make certain deals or get upset about the way that we looked as a society or as a family, and I definitely have memories of him talking to really scary people in his office.
I walk over to the table where the apple is sitting, where we left it. I pack the apple with another bowl of bramblebush.
Oh, for God's sake.
And I kind of sit on the floor next to Leah.
I'll definitely cross my legs.
Well, I figure like if you're standing up, me sitting down would put me at about head height with Leah.
Oh,
You would still be taller.
I love
Still
that.
probably be a little bit taller, but it would like make it easier to hand an apple back and forth to smoke.
Oh, hell yeah. Love it.
So I sit down next to Leah and I look at Eve and I spark the apple up again, repacking the bowl. Now, you mean to tell me that my dad, her dad, and Mr. Halfhorn's dad are in cahoots? Is that what you're telling me?
I really don't know. I only have the information that we've been able to pull together.
All right. So I've learned a lot of lessons in my life there, Eve. And one of them is don't judge a book by its cover. And I look at Leah because I could tell that she's distraught talking about her family and where she's from. We're not all perfect beings, and nobody can judge anyone's past, in my opinion. We are who we are today through the days that we have gone through, and I will be a different who man tomorrow than I am today. So I say that we come up with a plan and enjoy the day that we have, because we're still breathing. So, would you like a toke of the bramblebush there, Eve? And I pass the apple to Leah for her to get a hit.
I'll let you roll persuasion on that, but that DC is going to be fucking 22.
Leah's gonna look down at the apple that's been passed to her.
I might not be able to beat a 22, but I did just get a nat 20.
Oh, that beats.
No,
Does
it doesn't, because I like my persuasion's a -1, so it's a dirty 19, but it is a nat 20.
So, instead of doing what I was gonna do, which you wouldn't have liked, you see Eve kind of look at the apple. Jebediah, I'm going to tell you this once, and I'm going to tell you as a favor. I understand that this is an offering in your line of work of friendship. But if you ever offer me drugs again, I will cut your fingers off.
The line that came to my head is not the line that I'm going to say. Because I know Seb will punish me for it. So I will write it down and remember it for famous, because
That's a good idea.
hold on, give me just a second.
That's a good idea, sir. You better not fuck with this lady. She seems scary.
I'm gonna just, wrong button. Where'd my notepad go?
So I'm just gonna buy you a little
I'm
time.
just gonna have, yeah, please do.
Leah looks down at the apple in her hand, and she looks up at Eve and says,
I'm really starting to be concerned about the implications of this camaraderie. From what I know about my dad, he was in a lot of ways responsible for being the face of the draft.
The draft.
If all three of them are conspiratorially working together, that means that there's so much more of a dark influence on the draft than I even thought before, which was simple nepotism and securing good spots for your kids even though you don't deserve it type thing because you're on level 1 type thing. Like, this could be even potentially worse than I had previously thought.
And answer you, Eve. All you had to do was say I don't smoke, and I wouldn't have passed it to you.
She ignores you, looks at Leah. That's actually not that bad of a guess. However, how much of the draft do you know?
I know that it was basically set up with the intention or the facade of being like this great lottery system where you could potentially win opportunities depending on where you get relocated, whether that be, levels or even like alternative planetary movement, mainland to Iris Luna, vice versa, even the asteroid belt, and so on. And that it's set up as sort of a like everyone could potentially become the next opportunity, but I know that it's not what it seems. Just like a lot of things on level 1.
She takes one of the papers and like slides it over. It's showing because she had a folder, and she slides it across the table so that it's facing Leah and Jeb. And on it is a picture of like 16 different people. And the very second to last one on it is Leah herself. Every person on that list is someone who was picked by the draft. More of a scholarship system for level 1 to make them feel better about the fact that half of Iris Luna lives in squalor so that they can live in stars. Do you want to know something that every single person on that list has in common? They are all missing.
What?
Several of them have been found in less than desirable ways. Others missing indefinitely. Look at the last person on that list. As you look, you see that it's like, looks like almost like a child. Not like she's not a child, she's like 18, but you can see she's smiling brightly. This elven woman, her ears kind of like sticking out. She's very, very happy to be on this list. And Leah, you recognize her as your sister's best friend growing up. Do you remember her name? AKA make it up.
I mean, I always called her Pinky, but I believe her name is Iris. No.
Iris from Iris Luna.
I like it.
That can't be it.
Hey man, that sounds like a level 1 thing to do. Name your kid Iris. But you called her Pinky, and she does have pink hair, so that does kind of make sense. Yes. It seems your sister has gotten her into the scholarship for this year. Which means she's on this list too. Which means your sister might be involved.
Which means also that she might be in trouble. Just like
Precisely.
everybody on this list.
So, I'm going to plan an expedition. I'm going to go on a little solo spy, you might. After we get our points at our neural connection, situation handled.
Yeah,
But I'm
that's a
gonna
good
s-
idea. Because we gotta go car shopping too.
Yes, you need to get situated. It's probably not a good idea to have you snooping around right now. Nobody knows you're alive. So it's very good to keep a low profile. But it seems like you all being chosen for Project Genesis might not have been a coincidence.
What's the situation with the bodies that have been found of those 16 people that are in bad shape?
She stands up, walks over to where Leah is standing, and grabs your shoulder, spinning you around, kind of rough, just out of not, you're small. She doesn't know her own strength in that way.
Eep.
And she lifts your hair from the back of your neck. And Jebediah, you look at what she's revealing, and it's a ink tattoo, which you have some, but is rather rare for people on Iris Luna. They always get like the holographic tattoos. But for an ink tattoo, it's a barcode on the back of Leah's neck. I have one, she has one, and I'm willing to bet you have one too, Mr. Jeb. And she leans down to Leah. It's a barcode tattoo on your neck. Spins Leah back around. Every body that was found had one of these tattoos. Some of them crudely removed. Some of them burned. But every single one of them was marred beyond our ability to piece it back together. Somebody is covering the tracks. And we think your folder of daddy issues is responsible in some way.
So, what you're saying is we need to talk to a tattoo artist while we're around here too, eh? I could use some new ink.
I thought the same thing. But, watch. She pulls out a knife and grabs Leah the back of Leah's neck. You can't, like, it's a hard grip. And she puts, puts the knife to the barcode and swipes. And you see that the blade just skirts the top of the barcode. And you see little magical sparks fly off as the knife leaves no mark. And Leah, you suffer no pain. It appears whoever has marked us did so in a way that we cannot undo.
Remarkable. No pun intended. Well,
Eve just kind of sits down at the table. This is all so much bigger than we thought.
concerning.
The outfit, the group that you've been thrust into, we've been around for a little while now. And we've been fighting, trying to keep this moon city standing. If it were up to the people on the first level, Iris Luna would be dust. However, the people in the lower levels barely live lives worth living. This is what the outfit seeks to change. And we've been fighting a silent war for years now. But I think something's coming. Something bigger than our war.
Something is coming there, Eve.
What do you mean? And if you, I swear to God, if you make an innuendo or joke, I will castrate you.
That wasn't what I was going to do. Don't tempt me. However, I was just telling Leah, there's something bigger than this war exactly. We're not going to be able to breathe this air much longer.
You're talking about the apocalypse.
Oh, you knew about it already. It kind of changes things. Yeah, good thing I don't have to explain it because I don't really even understand the fucking thing. I just know that we're not going to be able to breathe.
None of us really understand it. The plants, they're not reproducing. The Union knows, and they're covering it up. She looks at Leah. Part of your recent troubles come from the fact that you were the first one to find out, weren't you? Your research. What happened to it?
Yeah. Well, after spending a lot of time at the plants, it was very clear that when they're exceeding their use on this time, we just burn them and plant new ones. And it didn't make a whole lot of sense because they're essential for oxygen production and other such important things. And the fact that they're being treated that way is because of the fact that they don't reproduce. They don't grow again. And so when I continued to study this, it became clear that it was being kept that way on purpose. And now, from what you're saying, we're going to run out of air as a result because the efforts are being stamped out intentionally. And they're being paraded as if it's a big research in order to try and fix it.
She pulls another piece of paper out, slides it across the table towards Leah. It's a page full of a lot of research and documentation of the production of oxygen. Can you roll me a nature check and with advantage, please? And don't you get +2?
Yep.
Because of her background, she gets +2 when making nature checks about plants.
So I rolled a 14.
14. Bro, the amount of nat ones that I've rolled for the universe today. As you look at the data, you see a bunch of data implicating that the production value of the trees that they are planting to replace the new trees, basically imported seeds from the mainland because they can't produce any on Iris Luna, the oxygen rate is slowly getting less and less over time. which makes no fucking sense because oxygen is a byproduct of plants. So it makes no scientific sense why these plants would be producing less oxygen, except for perhaps, and I'm going to leave it, you don't have to reveal it or anything, but the information that you have might lean, if you remember from your backstory, might glean as to why this is happening. But for the most part, on the data sheet, you can see that the scientist in charge of this data sheet is asking all kinds of questions. All kinds of questions. Like, you see them being like, what it could cause this? Maybe this, maybe this. And at the end, you see, I think I'm close. I think I'm close to understanding. And it's signed Dr. Thorne.
Lily.
Yes, you'd recognize the signature. Your
She's looking
sister's,
for the answer, too.
which, if your death is any indication, Leah, that seems to be a dangerous thing.
I tried to warn her.
Do you believe your sister is aware of these things? Do you think she's innocent in this?
Jeb looks over at Leah, and I would like to make an insight check to see how distraught she is with this revelation, if that's okay.
Sure. Is Leah attempting to withhold that emotion? Is she trying to play it cool?
No.
Okay, so then you really wouldn't even need to roll an insight check.
How
All
distraught
over her
is
face.
Leah, Jebediah, or Danny?
Leah is concerned for her sister's safety, who is her best friend in the world. So I would say that she's definitely she's like peaking. She's in the top tiers, not of like freaking out, but just like she's definitely distraught.
Leah, this comes from a lot of work and with bad people. I don't know anything about your family, but coming from level 1, can't trust a lot of people. I've already said that once today, and you'll probably hear it a lot. You think you can trust your sister?
Leah looks up and she looks terrified.
It's not a matter of trust, Mr. Jeb. I'm afraid it might already be too late regardless of what happens, because the only reason she's looking into this in the first place is because of me, because I told her what I know, which is I know why the plants aren't reproducing. And I know what we need to do in order to start spreading plants that do reproduce and start creating oxygen for the people. It's just that I was murdered immediately after. There's something really sinister that's taking place because it's becoming clearer and clearer that it's on purpose. It's not happening. If they're taking seeds, what this report says, from the mainland, which is completely uncontaminated plants that have no issue reproducing in their own environment and they're not growing here, it means that they are staunching the plants and they're staunching the people of Iris Luna.
That wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Me either.
But it doesn't make sense, Leah. Even Dr. Thorne, Governor Thorne, they all live here. What benefit could they have from taking the oxygen?
If you think for just one moment that first floor is not going to have oxygen, you're sorely mistaken there, Eve.
Look at those reports. At the rate of decline, and I'm sure, Jeb, this might be not your area of expertise, but at the rate of decline, Leah, why don't you let your friend know? How long before Iris Luna is completely free of oxygen?
Well, according to these calculations, in 3 years we'll be out of air.
Don't forget, when you found out, it was 12 months ago.
We have 2 years.
And there's
So
nothing.
who's to say in the last year? Damn it. What's with all this mumbo jumbo plant oxygen bullshit? Like, can't we just make new plants? Don't we do that already?
Looks at Leah. Doctor?
So, the deal with it is you have to ask yourself something that a crazy old man once told me, which is if someone could make money from doing it, chances are it's happening. And so, right now, one of the biggest commodities on this planet, besides gravity, is oxygen.
Moon.
Exactly.
Oh. Yeah, wow. I really am stoned. Okay, so if you think about the fact that a plant naturally, maybe on the mainland, say, makes oxygen for free, that item no longer is as valuable. If you have access to all the oxygen, it doesn't matter because it's more is being made for free at any time. So what I'm thinking is, if someone is benefiting financially from ripping all of the oxygen away from the people, there is a very good chance that it's happening for that exact reason.
And that is why I think that the first floor will never run out of oxygen because they're all a bunch of greedy bastards.
But the thing that doesn't make sense, those records, those documents, they're from the second level. If the second level goes down, level 1 will have nowhere to grow their oxygen. How is level 1 going to retain their oxygen? And also, why would they be so keen on killing everyone who has even any knowledge of this?
Especially because extrapolating that is killing everyone on this moon that works and breathes and functions to make it run. So all of that infrastructure then is also forfeit.
Which would cost level 1 millions of max.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense.
The only thing that makes sense is wiping everything that is to make room for what is next. Whoever is doing this is trying to wipe out everything here and start fresh, if that's the case.
You see Eve click her snap and point at Leah. I knew you were the smart one. Now, that I believe. I think level 1 is just as much danger as all of the other levels.
So do I.
And I think that Project Genesis has something to do with this.
From what I know, just based on watching my sister, she took that information that I gave her and went straight to her boss because she thought she was helping and she thought it was the right thing to do. And level 1 has put so much time into a facade that they are unfortunately forfeit in their own way. Because as much as I trust her as a person, she doesn't know what's actually the right thing to do, in my opinion.
What if we were the reset? What if Project Genesis is the reset? What if the people in those pods and the people that have been made dead were the people they were going to wake up when all this was done and over with?
Ah,
What if, and because we are in some way, shape, or form related to this Project Genesis via our familial ties, friendship ties, whatever the case may be, what if we were chosen and protected because of that? And we weren't supposed to wake up.
That is a interesting perspective. But there are still answers that are not being answered with that. Like Krieger, my partner. He is from Project Genesis, but from the last class. So they are making whatever they're doing with Project Genesis, they're doing it incrementally.
the name Genesis does indicate a beginning. So maybe they're practicing. Maybe if anything went wrong to any of us, they would have been able to move forward because we're not that special. And the people they really do want to be a part of their starting over are waiting in the wings for that until the process is complete. Do you remember that? There was like a lady and she was yelling and she said, "Oh my God, we did it." I remember waking up and hearing that.
You heard a voice in the tube.
A lady. She had brown hair. And we woke up and she said, "Oh my God, we did it."
She looks at Jebediah. Did you have a similar experience?
I want to say I remember hearing something, but I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Now that you say that, I do remember something like that. Hold on. We're stumbling onto something that is way deeper than we could have even imagined, Eve. Leah.
Mhm. Any
Starting to
indication
think
of
that.
knowledge is potential for silence forever if we let the wrong person know what we know.
Well, and I reach into my jacket where I've put this revolver that I've taken from downstairs, and I open the chamber. I see that the synthesizer has made bullets. Close it up, spin it. They gonna have a hard time getting it out of me.
Eve kind of chuckles a little bit. I like your spirit. Even if you are both high as the Dickens. You've given me some good things to ponder, and I don't think we have the whole answer yet, but maybe. Maybe we should take the night to think about it. It's getting late, and I got word from Krieger that the biotech is coming over tomorrow sometime mid-afternoon, so we should get some rest.
It does feel like it's been a while since we've had a rest.
Whose shift is it?
Don't worry about that. We have outfit soldiers watching us.
Speaking of outfit soldiers watching us, I think you should probably be let in on the fact that we were definitely tailed here.
Interesting. Did you catch a glimpse of the tail?
I did not catch a glimpse of the tail myself. That's a question for the half-horn when he's awake.
Well.
He may have caught a little bit better. The only thing I saw was a glint and a shadow, essentially. I was more focused on keeping Leah safe, and Squald was helping.
Interesting. Well, you need not worry right now. We did a full perimeter sweep, and it came back clean. And we have at least 10 outfit agents watching our safe house at any time. We are not 100% sure what was done to us as a part of Project Genesis. So until we figure it out, it's best that we all stay here. Even if what we want to do is go check on the ones we love. We have to trust the outfit, and we have to take our time.
I have one more theory before we turn in. But what if, and this could be a very outlandish theory. I am definitely stoned. But what if they don't want us to breathe oxygen? What if the Project Genesis isn't a restart? It's a way for us to breathe without oxygen.
Well, she stands up. She walks over to Jeb sitting on the floor. She like caresses his shoulders for a second, slides an arm down, and puts you in the tightest rear naked choke that you've ever been in your life. Can you roll me a con save, please?
Oh, absolutely. Can I roll 2?
Why do you need 2?
Because we haven't explored this side of Jeb yet, but Jeb definitely likes to be choked, and he's definitely getting choked by a fish woman, so he's definitely not entirely not enjoying this, that's for sure.
Oy
Fine,
vey.
you can roll 2. But
So
they're
on the
for
first
separate
one,
things.
I'm gonna tell you the first one and the second one. Don't tell me what they are. Just describe what happens. First
Okay.
one was a nat 1.
Okay.
You're not gonna fucking believe this. You're not gonna fucking believe this. The second one was a nat 20.
Okay.
We love to see it.
So as you feel your windpipe slowly compress, and then the tightness of this choke, you feel yourself want to struggle for a second, but then you kind of give in. And you're like, I got a thick neck. I can take this. This is not a problem. Before you even finish that thought, you are completely covered in darkness. As if someone threw a blanket over your head. Just and Leah, you see Eve let go of Jeb's neck as he just slumps onto the floor. Boom! Face down.
Whoa.
Well, that solves that. I guess we need oxygen. She turns him over and you see her reach into one of her pockets on her like utility like outfit and pull out a small white chalky looking stick, crack it in half, and then wave it underneath Jeb's nose. It's a smelling salt.
Leah's also going to take a big hit and blow it at him as well.
So you wake up and you try and breathe in air because you just were asphyxiated, but you just breathe in a bunch of smoke. Well, that just proves that theory. And she looks down, she looks back up. Flattering, but I'm not interested. And you look down and you just see a fucking uncomfortable bulge in the front of Jebediah's pants.
He did it to him.
Hey, you started this party, not me there, fish woman. I just walked back to it. I walked down to the basement. I'm like, I'm out of here in shame. Like Winnie the Pooh, brother. I'm just like,
fuck.
Walking down. Fuck.
As you get to the bottom, by the way, Nat 20 stopped that from being so much worse.
I'm so glad.
As after Jeb goes down the stairs, you see Eve kind of grab Leah's shoulder. Wait. One last thing. She pulls out the last piece of paper and she shows it to Leah. And it's an article from the Iris Luna News congratulating the new head of Life Source, the oxygen supplier, the president of Life Source, Lily Thorne, Dr. Lily Thorne. And she looks at Leah. If you really believe your sister is not a part of this, then I think the time will come soon where we need to get her out of there.
I think you're right. And the longer she's there, the bigger chance it is that she's in real trouble.
But, Leah, you need to be very ready for the possibility that your sister is our enemy. So you need to prepare yourself.
Especially if she's drank too much of the proverbial.
Redacted. What is twice?
Oh,
Sounds trademark.
it's a level 1 thing, I guess. Then, you're right. Because if she's bought too much of this nonsense, she might be too far gone to hear us. Well, I just have to say that it's a relief to know that someone is on our side, like yourself, Eve. It's really scary to be trying to change the whole world alone.
You see her soften a little bit, which is rare. Leah, you're going to need people like me. And it seems I'm going to need people like you. Lay off the bramble bush. You're better than. And she lifts the latch for the basement. Good
Eve,
night, dear.
As she
Good night.
lifts the latch to the basement and opens it, the more bramble smoke just rolls out. Like I've been hotboxing the basement since I
She
got
just
down there.
rolls her eyes. Oh my god. I guess I'll sleep on the couch then.
Eve, if we do get to a place where we need oxygen, I think I know how to help the plants. I think I know how to help the people. If you can figure anything out, let me know. And I'll do the same for you.
I do not doubt that, Leah. I believe that you and your wipes the smoke away compatriots seem to play a much larger part in this story than we first thought. Get some sleep. Tomorrow, we have a lot to get done.
Actually, one of the benefits of Bramblebush is assistance with deep sleep, just so you know, as well as anti-anxiety. So it can be considered medicinal depending on the person.
That's great. Yes, that's great, Leah. Good night. And she holds the door open for you to go, the trap door.
She's gonna walk down into the smoke with her mouth open like a fish, like a suction, as she's breathing in.
Don't turn into Bramblebush now. And she closes the trap door, and you hear the couch scrape across the floor as you hear her lay onto it. You can hear the springs of the couch creaking as the rain is the sound of the rain is slowly muted to a soft little tapping. As you all crawl into bed, your mind spinning, is the last sound. As you tuck yourselves into the bunks that are downstairs, Jeb, you find that yours is rather short, but you've been used to it at this point.
I've slept in smaller beds, I can assure you.
Yeah, and fucking Squald's feet are literally hanging off his bed also. As you guys tuck yourselves in and let the rain kind of dance you to sleep. Broken only by one solitary loud. As that is where I will end today's session. Thank you for listening to We Together. Find all of our links on our Linktree or join our amazing Discord community at We Together Gaming to chat about the story, share your thoughts, and hang out with the cast and GM. If you'd like to support us, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/We Together Gaming. You'll get exclusive access to our behind-the-scenes podcast, where we talk about our favorite moments, dive into character work, and have long-form discussions about the story. every week. If you're all caught up and looking for more, check out the actual play podcast Hapless Heroes, now in its second season, featuring me, your GM, as a player. Available on all streaming services. A quick thank you to our top tier patrons: GxLobes, BrenDaniel, aka Naturally Noted, That Guy Jake, and my Momma. Your support means the world to us. Until next time, stay adventurous and remember, whatever we do it better together.